Gary Sanchez is now literally home alone, the only healthy catcher the Birds have, as Cedric Trump goes down, hurt with lower back tightness, and will most likely end up on the IL. Hello, everybody. I'm Jon Leiberman. We have a big problem, and soon the Birds may be asking one of you to try out to catch and also to pitch. I'm going to explain why. I told you a little bit about the only backup catcher that was healthy is now down, hurt for the Birds. We're going to get into that and why pitchers in the American League, why the Orioles had to have 3 at-bats by pitchers last night. That shows the dire situation, but the situation gets even more dire than that, unfortunately, as we have an update on Cade Povich and his rehab. Spoiler alert, he has to be shut down for a little while. We're going to get into what that means, a whole lot of other updates on Charlie Morton getting pushed back, Jorge Mateo stopping his rehab. Something is wrong here in terms of either pre-game routines or training or something, but so many Birds are getting hurt, and every time they take one step forward, there's literally 4 steps back. Before we get into one highlight from last night, at least, as the Birds do win in extras, a big game, please like, subscribe, do all the things. It's great to see you all here. We're heading toward that 3,000 subscriber mark. Would love if you join us in this mission. And again, before we get to kind of all the negative news, there's Gunnar. Gunnar in extras. The Birds end up holding on in extras thanks to Gunnar's 4 runs batted in. And frankly, I want to look at it again because soon Gunnar is going to be one of our only healthy original starters in the lineup, so might as well take a second look and relish in it. The Birds still 7 out in the wild card, and let's get to the latest news. And the latest news is, oops, sorry guys, let's get to the latest news. We're going to get to Cade in a moment. We're going to get to Mateo in a moment. We're going to start with Gary Sanchez. He is the last healthy catcher standing for the Orioles. The reason is, in last night's game, Cedric Trump has to leave the game very early on with lower back tightness. You'll remember Zach Eflin went on the IL yesterday with lower back tightness. I expect that Cedric Trump will go on the IL as well. So what options do the Birds now have at catcher? And look, Sanchez, don't take anything away from him at all. The numbers don't even tell the tale. The 4 homers, the 22 batted in, because remember, he was hurt, and he's been on a tear since he got back from injury. So don't take away a thing from Gary Sanchez. He has held it down in Adley's absence, but, you know, you lost Maverick Hanley to a concussion. Now you've lost Cedric Trump to lower back tightness, and the Birds are kind of out of options at this point at catcher. I've been calling for them to call up a top prospect in baseball, Samuel Basallo. Now they may not have a choice. They literally may not have a choice because Handley isn't coming off of the IL, right away. He still has a couple more days in the concussion protocol. So what will the Birds do? They have one other kind of option down at the minors other than Basallo. And here's the thing. Basallo has been killing it. He's hitting with power. He's got an OPS over 950. But the downside, as I pointed out on this program, and I'll point it out again, is there is still an incentive for the Birds if it delays promoting Basallo, because if he isn't promoted until later in the season, he would remain rookie eligible in 2026, and he could earn the Orioles an extra draft pick if he wins Rookie of the Year next year. But the Orioles are now backed into a corner with all of these injuries, and the injuries, frankly, don't stop there. We're going to spend some time on this graphic, unfortunately. Settle in. Charlie Morton has now been pushed back to Friday in Atlanta. He has low-grade elbow tendonitis. Charlie has been outstanding recently, absolutely outstanding. So Brandon Young is actually going to start in his stead for the Birds. More bad news. Jorge Mateo pulled from his rehab game last night due to a hamstring issue. The Birds are evaluating his hamstring. They don't know the severity yet. Folks, it doesn't look good. Cade Povich, this is probably the worst news of all of it, has hip soreness, and his rehab assignment has been stopped for right now. Stopped. There is no a way to candy coat it. So what you're looking at is hopefully Morton does pitch Friday, but now you have Mateo, who's going to be out for an even longer extended period of time. You have Cade Povich, which is, Cade, while he hasn't been great, he is, an integral part of this pitching staff, especially with Zach Eflin down. And Sagano is struggling. You have Dean Kramer pitching well, but Sagano's struggling. Eflin down. Eflin, on the IL. Povich on the IL and not returning anytime soon. You have Charlie Morton, who is, fighting this low-grade tendinitis, so who knows how he's going to look, and Brandon Young in his stead. So the Birds are really, really, really scuffling at this point. It's one of those situations where only time will tell how severe all of this is and what the Birds actually, need to do. But the Cade Povich, being pushed back with no timeline, this is extremely concerning to an already battered pitching staff. We did find out Tyler O'Neill is going to get some reps at AAA right now. So from a lineup perspective, he may be back soon. But, Mateo not coming back soon, does that leave a space for somebody who I've been talking about, Vimeo Machine? And what does this all mean at the trade deadline as well? Because obviously, anybody who's on the IL is generally not a good trade chip for the Orioles as well. Even though, me, I'm still trying to remain positive. Where's my graphic that I wanted to call up a graphic. But me, I want to remain positive about the Birds, but the latest sports book gives the Birds a 7.7% chance to make the playoffs. They are 7 out in the wild card. The injuries keep happening. I want to hear from you. Give me your thoughts, your comments here on Orioles Digest. It's all about, a little bit about what I think, but it's a lot about what you think. So comment, subscribe, and fingers crossed that the Birds can somehow figure out getting to the All-Star break to get a few days rest. You have the Rangers, then you have the Braves behind them. The Birds really do have to take 5 of 6 of these. I mean, they have 1 out of the way with the Rangers. They need about 5 of 6. If the Birds can somehow be 5 out in the wild card going into the All-Star break, then I think it becomes a different scenario for Mike Elias and company. I'm Jon Leiberman. This is Orioles Digest.